Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, held hands as they bid a final farewell to Queen Elizabeth II at her funeral. The Duke of Sussex had already walked solemnly alongside his brother William, Prince of Wales, as the Queen's coffin made its final journey from Westminster Hall to Westminster Abbey on September 19. Britons, world leaders and royalty from across the globe gathered to bid farewell to the Queen, the last towering figure of her era, at a state funeral of inimitable pageantry. For more royal family-related news and videos, check out Royal Family. Cameras captured a beautiful moment between Harry and Meghan, with Harry appearing to look down tenderly at his wife while the pair held hands as the Queen's coffin was carried out of the Abbey. Harry in particular is known to have had a close bond with his grandmother, and he issued a poignant tribute after her death aged 96 on September 8. "I cherish these times shared with you, and the many other special moments in between," he said. "You are already sorely missed, not just by us, but by the world over." At 6:30 a.m. local time, on the day of the funeral, an official lying-in-state period for the Queen ended after 4 days. Hundreds of thousands of mourners had queued to file past the casket of Britain's longest reigning monarch at London's historic Westminster Hall. Shortly before 11 a.m. local time, the oak coffin, covered in the royal standard flag with the imperial state crown on top, was placed on a gun carriage and pulled by naval personnel to Westminster Abbey for the funeral. King Charles III walked in the royal party following behind the gun carriage, alongside the Princess Royal, the Duke of York and the Earl of Wessex. The procession was led by some 200 pipers and drummers. The tenor bell of the Abbey, the site of coronations, weddings and burials of English and then British kings and queens for almost 1,000 years, tolled a solemn 96 times to represent each year of the Queen's life. Also following the coffin were Harry, William and their cousin Peter Phillips, along with Princess Anne's husband Vice Admiral Sir Tim Lawrence, the Duke of Gloucester and Earl of Snowdon. After the solemn procession reached the Abbey, members of the royal family marching behind the coffin were joined by Queen Consort Camilla, Catherine, Princess of Wales, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex and Sophie, Countess of Wessex, who had arrived by car. Prior to the funeral, royal commentator Victoria Arbiter told 7 News that Harry was part of the procession because he is the King's son. "He is a male member of the family, so that is why we have seen him and the Duchess of Sussex very much at the center of the ceremonial proceedings," Arbiter said. Among the 2,000 in the congregation were some 500 world leaders, from U.S. President Joe Biden and Emperor Naruhito of Japan to South African President Cyril Ramaphosa and Mark Brown, Prime Minister of Cook Islands. The Queen's great-grandchildren, Prince George, 9, and Princess Charlotte, 7, the 2 eldest children of now heir to the throne Prince William, also attended. In a statement ahead of the funeral, King Charles said, "Over the last 10 days, my wife and I have been so deeply touched by the many messages of condolence and support we have received from this country and across the world. As we all prepare to say our last farewell, I wanted simply to take this opportunity to say thank you to all those countless people who have been such a support and comfort to my family and myself in this time of grief." The Queen died on September 8 at her Scottish summer home, Balmoral Castle. Her health had been in decline, and for months the monarch, who had carried out hundreds of official engagements well into her 90s, had withdrawn from public life, although just 2 days before her death she had appointed Liz Truss her 15th and final Prime Minister. Such was her longevity and her inextricable link with Britain that even her own family found her passing a shock. "We all thought she was invincible," Prince William previously told well-wishers. The 40th sovereign in a line that traces its lineage back to 1066, Elizabeth came to the throne in 1952, Britain's first post-imperial monarch. She oversaw her nation trying to carve out a new place in the world, and she was instrumental in the emergence of the Commonwealth of Nations, now a grouping comprising 56 countries. When she succeeded her father George VI, Winston Churchill was her first prime minister and Joseph Stalin led the Soviet Union. She met major figures from politics to entertainment and sport, including Nelson Mandela, Pope John Paul II, the Beatles, Marilyn Monroe, Pelé, and Roger Federer. Tens of millions of people in Britain and abroad were expected to watch the funeral of the monarch. It will end with the last post-trumpet salute before the church and the nation fall silent for 2 minutes. Afterwards, the coffin will be brought through central London, past the Queen's Buckingham Palace home to the Wellington Arch at Hyde Park Corner, with the monarch and the royal family following again on foot during the 2.5-kilometre procession. From there, it will be placed on a hearse to be driven to Windsor Castle, west of London, for a service at St George's Chapel. This will conclude with the crown, orb and sceptre, symbols of the monarch's power and governance, being removed from the coffin and placed on the altar. Later in the evening, in a private family service, the coffin of Elizabeth and her husband of more than 7 decades, Prince Philip, who died last year aged 99, will be buried together at the King George VI Memorial Chapel, where her parents and sister, Princess Margaret, also rest. With op. And finally, thank you all for watching the video. Please like and comment your opinion so we can discuss together. Don't forget to subscribe, press the bell to follow and update many other interesting news. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.